world's fall, he did not leave out woe to the pastors, did he?
No, he left.
You read Jeremiah 25th chapter. They were the principal of the flock. The pastors was the ones who was going to fall with the whole economic development. But those are the teachers.
Gotcha.
Look, on the campaign, like you were saying, town hall meetings, they want to know what can y'all do for us? And now they asking John, what's up? Verse 9. I think I want verse. Oh, no. I'm going to skip down a little further, get right to the point. Verse 10.
Verse 10. And the people asked him, Luke 3 and 10, and the people asked him, saying, what shall we do then? He answered and said to them, he that have 2 coats, let him impart to him that hath none.
So if you got access, this is what the Essenes taught, didn't it? No man have more than the other. If you got 2 coats, that means you got 1 coat more than me. I ain't got one. What do you do? John said, what? Give your brother a coat. And what else he say with the food?
And he that have meat, let him do likewise.
What is John saying do?
Share your resources.
Share your resources. And they just give you a glimpse of John because the gospel is not necessarily about John. He's set up. But they could just take, scholars just took this little part and understood this is what the Essenes were doing. You came in, you had 2, 3 coats. They could be silk, fine, leather, whatever it was. You only need one of them. You got a few people over here who need a coat. Give them some coats. You got extra food on your table? Share it with your brothers. That's communism. That's socialism. You mean to tell me that the kingdom of God that began to be set up during the days of the Roman Republic, this capitalist republic, was a communist kingdom? Do you know that same fight has been before our eyes since we've been born in our generations? Do you know that the Americans didn't attack and have a problem with Russia because of nuclear bombs? Did y'all know that? Noam Chomsky, if you want to hear from someone else, a scholar, Noam Chomsky will tell you. You know why they had a problem with Russia? Because they pulled themselves out of a third world position and they came into a second world position. The equality with women, the equality among the races, the job opportunity was what was happening in Russia. And it was developing. You know how else I found this to be true? You know who else said it? W.E.B. Du Bois. Did you know he lived in Russia for 6 months? He supported the Russian Revolution and the Communist Revolution, or the China Revolution. Did you know in the 1930s, you had the so-called Negroes and white people, the poor whites, traveling back and forth to Moscow? Learning in the schools of Lenin on how to learn about the socialist or communist system. And when they got there, they said the same thing. There was no division among women. There was no division among races. The capitalists could not have the American people have an alternative to capitalism.
And that was actually the lifestyle for their own neighborhoods, their own families. They weren't going to come back to America and burn D.C. to the ground and change D.C. Right. They wanted to go and learn, look, our condition hasn't changed in this country economically.
That's right.
So what can we do so that we can live off the resources we have?
That's right.
And they went over there to learn how to what? How to share. How you got to leave America to go to another country so they can say, well, look, y'all need to share this. Y'all need to come put all y'all resources together. Because you can't stay here and have the government teach you, take all y'all resources and take care of yourselves.
Because they weren't doing it in America. We worked in the fields. Poor whites, poor blacks, building the roads, right. Building the what do you call it, the train tracks,
right?
As they transport resources and riches, picking the cotton for the textile industry, but no one eating off the proceeds but the capitalists. So therefore, there has been a constant war. And Fidel Castro seen the same evils in Cuba and fought against it. And the only people he could find relief that backed him was, guess who? The United Soviet Socialist Republic. That's when that whole Cold War thing started. Talking about some bombs. It didn't have nothing to do with bombs. It had to do with relief. And the capitalists have to keep the people enslaved. Y'all don't believe me though, do y'all? Let's get back to this here now, because I just want to read a couple more history so we can close out. I just want us to touch ground to reality about this kingdom. In the days, the Messiah said, look, the kingdom of God is at hand and the time is fulfilled. We see some of John's advice, right? Now let's pick up on the Messiah's campaign. The Messiah's campaign. Luke 12. No, in fact, Luke 6 first. Let's go to Luke 6. Luke 6. And I marvel, I say, you know, in learning this, you got to come out of religious dogma. A lot of this information we find is just simply in civil, or should I say secular, historical information. They're not biased one way or another. This is not necessarily written by a Christian. You know, Dead Sea Scrolls in the Bible, I don't know Charles pt5of8 religion. You know, Josephus wrote as a historian. He was a Pharisee, but he wrote as a historian. Let's see who would like to hear these words that the Messiah said, Luke 6 and 20. We just want to read verses 20 to 22.
And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God.
You mean during the time God setting up the kingdom, you got the Messiah saying, Blessed are ye poor, for yours is this kingdom. Go ahead.
And this is paramount, what we about to read.
Go ahead.
Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled.
Wait a minute. You shall be filled when in the future?
No, you hungry now.
You gonna be
want
filled.
to be filled now. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He ain't say blessed. See, they don't never read it like that. Just blessed are you. No, blessed are you who hunger now.
Yeah, they make it seem like you hungry now, but you're going to get filled later. In heaven, even.
Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company.
You go around telling them that you a socialist or a communist for Christ. And let's see how much company you keep.
And shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake.
For these policies he's bringing out, they're going to hate you and cast you off for being evil. God bless me with all my riches. Don't you tell me I got to share it. This is the mentality we're dealing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what he says. So blessed are the poor. Right?
Wow.
Let's skip down to verse 24, though. Look what he, on the other side.
But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation.
Go ahead.
Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep.
Or you should put it this way. Those who are first shall be last.
Those who are last shall be first.
They shall be first. So we see on his campaign, he's catering to the poor masses. But he got an issue with the riches. And those with those riches, who's hoarding the riches, correct? Did we see that so far?
I see it.
Okay, let's look at this again. Look what he told his flock to do. Those who were endorsing him and coming with him and supporting him in his campaigns, what did he tell him to do? In Luke 12 and starting at verse 31. Luke 12 and 31. I want to read one more historical account before we do close out.
Luke 12 and
31.
But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you.
So he's telling his flock to seek the kingdom.
Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell that ye have. Give alms. Provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that faileth not, where no thief approacheth, neither moth corrupteth. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
What did he tell the people on the campaign to do?
Take care.
Sell you have. The little flock, the little people who's endorsing him and helping him in his campaign. So he just didn't tell a rich man to sell what he had.
Right.
He told everyone who was running along with his company to do the same thing. And what did they have? Did they have a common purse?
Yes, sir.
Now we can understand why the scholars wanted to know, wait a minute, Jesus and John must have had some Essene background. They running around talking about this communism stuff. In the midst of a Roman Republic, I don't know if y'all can grasp this, man. I mean, not that y'all can't grasp, excuse me. I mean, I'm just picturing my own mind. I'm seeing the battle this day. Today I see it. I see why we will be hated when we fully do what the Messiah said do. They ain't gonna hate you on the corner talking about keep the Sabbath. They ain't got no problem with that. They get enough, they hear too much of it, they just send the police, they get off the corner. That's all. But when you start to do this, form another society where you're pulling away from the riches and you pooling your resources, then all of a sudden now that becomes a problem with everyone who's making money off of you.
Someone's gonna notice.
Someone's gonna notice. And we gave an example, like we want to homeschool our kids to teach them the right thing, right? Well, let's say you get everybody here on the east and west side to pull their kids out of public schools. Legislation will be passed by midnight tonight. Stopping that whole movement.
That man said tonight.
Tonight.
Emergency.
It'll be done.
Emergency meeting.
We ending all this. Why? Because the ones who make the school bus tires gonna lose money. The people who build the school buses gonna lose money. The textbooks folks gonna lose money. The clothing industry gonna lose money. Everybody gonna start to lose some money. The people who provide the food for your lunch and your cafeteria, people who get, the heating bills for the schools, everything pertaining to money in the school system when your kids ain't going. Oh, no. We can't have this. Don't you know that they know about this? Are y'all familiar with the Jesus movement that took place in the 60s and 70s? With all those communists, with all of the whole commune idea? They started to pass laws in certain countries here where only a certain amount of people could live per acre. Do you know that?
Yep. Because them people was coming together.
They were all coming together.
They was buying up land. And everyone wasn't poor. A lot of people come from well-to-do families.
That's right.
All of that. And they was taking their resources. Then you got those who don't have that much.
That's right.
You buying all of this land. You got all these people coming together in love and peace and harmony. And the color barrier was broken down.
That's right.
Everything.
That whole Woodstock age. It was during the time of the Jesus movement.
So what they did was they took the big marijuana party. They took a couple crazy kooks who was doing crazy.
That's right.
Anything, you always gonna have a bad representation.
That's right.
Offshoot of something. They took those examples and try to just point to the idea of commune as evil.
As evil. Through Jim Jones in the picture, because he came out of that movement. He was influenced by Father Divine. They all came out of this whole commune movement. Mm-hmm. And that's all who they smear on TV. Destroy the whole idea of communism.
They put on cult. And then every time they show a doggone community, I watch, I watch Discovery Channel a lot. They had some documentary. As soon as they talk about cults, no, that's if they doing historical ones. All they show, they just keep showing polygamists. They just keep showing polygamists. Yeah. And all these people who got these women and they having babies with the mama and the daughter and all these kids and these they got.
That's interesting, man.
700-acre communities that is separate from the community around, but they find the most extreme examples of that. You ain't gotta go to church to be like, dude, what is you doing sleeping with the woman and her daughter having babies? What is you doing? Why they go to that example and say, man, people, y'all see anybody doing anything that look like this? They out of control. So if you see people coming together, you know what's probably going on in there? They probably sleeping with each other's wives.
Man, that's
they probably doing this and that. I'm telling you.
You know, because that's what they tried to throw at us. Cat threw that in the air at us. I told y'all this before. Look, what he's saying. Do you know who started that? What he's saying about the whole idea with the whole polygamous and women sleeping around, the whole cultic type, freaky type vibe. They started that in the early 1900s with the communist movement in the South. They started to accuse the white women who were helping the communist movement, who were communists themselves, of sleeping around with all of the Negroes and stuff like that in the communist. They started that propaganda. Get a book called Hammer and Hoe. It's called Hammer and Hoe. It's about the Alabama communist movement.
Guarantee y'all, it's about working.
Guarantee y'all.
It ain't wanting to do nickname Hammer and some shit. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, because you can't look at that kind of kooky kid. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yes. This book talks about how the propaganda started to smear the whole idea of communism and the communist movement.